I've been in IT for 15 years, and I guarantee that nothing breaks your ego faster than being in a meeting with leadership, thinking that you're crushing it, only to realize that they have no idea what you're talking about. Imagine this. I'm in a meeting with 8 executives staring at me, and I just said the words reduced API latency to people who have no idea what an API is. My manager's face was priceless. I've been a product manager for exactly 1 week, and I was failing spectacularly. I spent the weekend preparing for that meeting. I had charts illustrating error handling, database metrics, and our latest caching layer. I genuinely thought I was crushing it. But then my manager leans forward and says,
"What does that mean for our customer retention goals?"
I had nothing. I completely froze. I built something gorgeous, perfect, beautiful from a technical perspective. But I had no idea what business problem we were solving. My hands were gripping to my computer so tight because I realized that I was a developer for 10 years at that point, and I just assumed that that would make me good at this job. Well, that meeting was brutal, but on my way back home, something clicked. I wasn't failing because I didn't know enough. I was failing because I was thinking like a developer when the job required something completely different. And today I'm sharing with you the most critical shifts that I wish someone would have told me back then. Let's start with shift 1. For 10 years as a developer, my job was to solve the how. How do we fix this bug? How do we implement this feature? How do we optimize this query? But product management is not about the how, it's about the what and the why. 3 weeks after that disastrous meeting with leadership, engineering came to me with a gorgeous proposal to revamp our technical stack. I'm talking about a beautiful architecture and a clean implementation plan. Now, old developer me would have approved that in a second. I was so excited to see something like that. But as a product manager, I had to pause and ask, what user problem is this solving? And why does it need to be a priority? And you know what the answer was? Silence. Crickets. Because there was no business value in that. It was nice and it was interesting from a technical perspective, but it did not have an impact on the business. So we did not proceed with that. And instead, we ended up working on a feature that significantly improved our customer retention and got us budget approval to keep the project going. So how can you apply this today? Before you have any technical conversations with your developers, make sure you understand the user problem and the business outcome you're working towards. If you can't articulate these clearly, you're not ready to talk about implementation. Now, the second shift broke me for months. As a developer, I had a manager that assigned tasks. So when something needed to be done, either I did it myself or it was assigned to someone else. As a PM, I needed designers to create the mockups, engineering to commit to my timeline, and marketing to create the launch plan. But none of them reported to me. Well, I didn't let that stop me because I tried to manage them anyway. I set deadlines for everyone and followed up passionately with them. Until one day, my lead engineer came to me and said this:
"You're not my manager. Stop acting like it."
And he was right. I was trying to use authority I didn't have. So that forced me to learn how to influence. Influence comes from understanding what matters to each person and showing them how your goals are aligned with theirs so that they choose to follow your lead. Because the engineer who pushed back, he was more excited about working with new technologies. So I showed him how the new project will let him work with technologies he'd been wanting to try. And suddenly he was all in. The lesson here is, before asking anyone for anything, spend 10 minutes to understand what their goals are. Then show them how your request will be a win for you both. And that way you won't have to chase anyone to get things done. Now, shift 3 is all about managing people, not tasks. I thought product management would be 80% feature definition and 20% stakeholder updates. Little did I know, it was the exact opposite. I spend so much more time managing expectations than I work on features. Because engineering wants time to clear out all the technical debt. Sales team wants that feature they promised to clients yesterday. And marketing needs something demo ready for next month's conference. While leadership wants everything delivered right now. 6 months in, I tried to please everyone. I said yes to every request that came to me, and I committed to impossible timelines. And let me tell you, all that did was cause 3 disasters to pop all at once. Engineering was burning out, sales was angry that I missed the deadline, and leadership questioned my competence. What I learned is that your job as a product manager is not to please everyone. It's to get everybody aligned on what matters the most and why. Now, I over-communicate. I send weekly updates even when nothing changes, regular one-on-ones with key stakeholders, and regularly sharing a clear priority matrix that everyone can see. Because the moment people don't get an update, they will create their own narrative. And most of the time, their understanding is not accurate. So be proactive and communicate. When someone comes to you with a new request, show them the matrix. Let them see where their priority fits with everything else, and let them make that trade-off, not you. Remember that conference room with the 8 executives? The moment I realized that I had absolutely no idea what I was doing? 6 months later, I walked into the same room for a quarterly review. And this time I opened with this. This feature increased customer retention by 12%, and it reduced the support tickets by 30%. My manager smiled, the CFO nodded, and the head of sales said, "This is exactly what we needed." And that's when I finally understood. The transition from developer to PM is not about abandoning your technical skills. It's about expanding your outcome from code to impact. And as cliche as it sounds, that failed presentation was one of the best things that happened to me, because it showed me what really mattered. It forced me to stop being a developer that does PM work and become a product manager that happens to understand the technical aspect. So if you're in that conference room right now, doubting your existence because of a failed meeting, you're exactly where I used to be. And these 3 shifts will get you through it. Tell me in the comments, which shift do you struggle with the most? Your answers become my next videos.